identify someone that you're courting or seeking to engage?
Will be the same. And I think that also has to do with your maturity level, but I still think it would be actions. Your
Mm.
like your actions. I'm sorry, it's just your actions. Period. Like you can kind of tell just off rip. Hey, I don't have a connection with this person. Like I'm not. I feel like this gonna be a waste of my time. Like just even if you meet somebody, text messages. I'm sorry. Now I'm not gonna even lie. Texting people is so irritating to me. Cause I'll text somebody, and if you start shorthanded texting me, and you're like 30 something years old, that bothers me. Cause I'm like, what? What did you just say? Like, sir, speak English. Like, it's. I mean, it's a maturity level. Like if we can't have a normal conversation, if we can't have a mature conversation, conversations like this, or talking about life stuff, like I can see where your head is going. Like it's an action thing. It's a maturity thing for me. Like you really just kind of have to view a person. Like you almost have to observe this person and let them, just see, because you really don't when you get past the dating part, you kind of figured out, you kind of figured them out a little bit. But let's be honest, a lot of people's masks come off, and even in dating, and after a couple of years, well, not even I wouldn't even say a couple of years. After a couple of months, it's a new season. They might change. A couple more months, it's a different season. They might change. So I mean, it's just it's observing, it's actions, it's maturity. You really just got it's so much that you kind of have to gotta look at to actually answer that question. Because I mean, let's be honest, no person is gonna be the same for every single season. No person, everybody has their days, everybody has their moments, everybody gets mad. I don't care who you are. Everybody gets upset. Everybody gets pissed off. Like you have to really just kind of like see a person in every point of like every point of their life, like every situation. You might not see every situation, but majority, and kind of see how they handle situations, how they look at situations, how they react, how they respond. Like it's maturity, it's actions. So I think it would be the same thing.
I agree. I agree for all of those, and I add a few. But
Okay.
let me backtrack. So for me, all of those things, like I expect, like you said, in season, people's personalities change. They're gonna how they respond, how they react. Everybody's gonna go through trials. Everybody's gonna have issues in a relationship.
Right.
But I want to see, like you said, how you handle them and
Right.
how do you handle it with me, because different people handle issues differently. Like there's some people who push people away. There's some people who pull people closer.
Right.
You have to also realize who you are in that situation. Are you someone who wants to be closer, or someone who feels like I should step back and let them handle it? Because if you don't um, match in that sense, there's going to be issue down the road.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I want to see how people incorporate me into their lives, because it's always all good when everything's up, but when it's down, how do you
Oh
feel
yeah.
about us? I've seen people who get in relationships, and when things go horribly wrong or things don't go in their favor, they don't want to be bothered by
Right.
with, and that's something that could be a big issue, because if you're depending on this person, that person's depending on you, you're living together, you're married, and they go through stages where they shut you out or push you away, it's unhealthy, and it could cause resentment, it can cause misunderstanding, uh, it can cause a lot of things. It can tear up what you thought was a foundation. And
Right.
going even further, I look at how we all um, I just look at how we deal with situations together. in a nutshell. This is how are we going to deal with situations, and how are you going to communicate any issues, not make me figure out the issue or make me guess or somebody else have to tell me.
Right.
I need to know that you can vocalize what these issues are, because maybe I can do something, and that lets me know how to approach or deal with your situation. Because if I don't know,
Right.
I may just constantly keep stepping on your toes and upsetting you even further, and that's not.
Exactly.
So I mean, the communication is key, and understanding everybody's all relationships are good when everything's going fine, but how are the relationships, or how do you deal with relationships when they're not? And a lot of people have very little experience in dealing with uh, trials and tribulations when dating, especially if you don't have a true foundation. If you're rushing into things, or you don't really know each other, or you're putting on a facade and acting like you're this particular person, you're always happy and everything's always good,
Right.
and it could be
Right.
years. It could be years. I had a situation where I was dating someone when I was in a station in Florida. 2 years, never had an argument. First argument, year two, broke up. One argument, broke up. That's all it took, because everything just crumbled. Everything, all the foundation, I thought we had crumbled. It was all a facade. So she showed her true colors in that one argument.
Oh yeah.
And it happens same thing with men as well. So you wanna you wanna see both sides of who you're courting, or you want to be in, pursue engagement with, because if you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with this person, that's a long time. If you honestly,
Right.
and then you got people who, oh, if it don't work, I'll just get divorced. That's not my mindset. That's not how my,
Right.
but and it shouldn't be how anybody's mind works. But people lean on that, and they're quick to run into things. If you told everybody there was no such thing as divorce, and you just had to stick it out the way our our older generation did, because that wasn't necessarily an option, people would
Right.
definitely reevaluate how they pick their partners.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you see it out, you're
You
not supposed
definitely
to.
wouldn't see money marriages. That's for sure.
No,
You
because some
definitely
people aren't
wouldn't.
meant. Some people are not meant for marriage. Point blank
Right.
period. Some
Right.
people are meant to just date, just live their life, and have all the options. Some people are.
Right.
Some people enjoy just the actual act of courting, but not actually going any further than that. It's just
Right.
just seeking out and and wearing people down, and getting to a point where they get what they want, and then they're starting over. Some people
The
live that
right.
life, and some
Yeah.
people genuinely just want to go through that process to find their person. So you
Yeah.
have hard trying to be able to identify who's who, because it's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing when it comes to dating.
It is, and you like it goes back to you when you said that you keep stepping on the person's toes. Like you don't, they don't even realize if you say something, if you literally say something, it prevents you from having to heal. Like if you just say it, hey, what you said that hurt my feelings. What you did that hurt my feelings. That I don't like when you do that. I don't like when you say things like that. That keeps you from having to heal, because if you don't say anything, or if you don't, if you don't stop things, or if you don't address things, it keeps happening, it keeps happening, it keeps happening, it keeps happening, and here you are being shut down. You being shut down, and it's like a shaking soda bottle. Eventually, when it does come to the top and you get fed up with it, you burst, and it's all over the place. And it's like, well, dang, you could have told me that like long time ago, and I would have stopped. Now here we are, we having this blowout, this big bang or whatever, and this all could have been prevented. I didn't know. I can't read your mind. Like it goes back to communication and understanding communication, and it goes back to actions. It goes back to maturity. Like it goes back to so many things. Like you just have to say something before you get to that point, because now you set this person back. This person is now trying to heal. Now they're trying to heal because y'all broke up. Like, it's, oh man. When I step back and actually just like look at all of this, like dating and relations, like dating, relationships, courting, marriage, engagements, like, no, I'm not ready. I know for a fact I'm not. Period. Do I eventually want it to happen one day? Absolutely.
Right.
But I know when I step back, I'm like, I know my mindset. I know I'm not there because I never thought that way. I never thought to think of, like, to say this or do this or look at this a certain way.
Yeah. I say to people all the time, um, we're always constantly growing. We're always constantly improving ourselves and how we understand our partners and ourselves. But one thing I've learned in doing that is you may not be ready for 100 years of your life, and one day, out of the blue, that could change. And I feel like that if when you run across the right person in the right situation that's right for you, those fears, those disbeliefs go out the window. Because some things just feel right. You know how you do certain things and it just this just feels like I'm supposed to be doing this, or I feel like this is my purpose. I'm in my purpose.
Right.
So I feel the same way with partners. When you find that equally yoked person, I feel like that's when you feel like you're ready. Because I know for a long time in my life, I was like, yeah, I don't like dating. I'm not really into dating because it's too much attention, it's too much time. And then I met the first person that I did date, and I wanted to do those things with this person. I said, okay, so it's not me, it's just I recognize who I don't want to do these things for.
Right.
I actually genuinely care enough about, or am interested enough about, then those feelings change. And I've noticed that in different points in my life when I had my first, so on and so forth. It was just because I felt the need to want to do these things or explore these things. So I feel like it comes down to the person. It's not necessarily always us.
Yeah.
You know, you're not ready because you haven't met the person to make you want to be ready. And why would you? You can't just not have somebody and say, "Oh, I want this. I'm ready for this," but you don't have any options. Like that makes no sense. That's just an idea, and you probably want it for the wrong reasons. If that's the case, you want it because everybody around you has it, or you want it because that's what society's telling you you're supposed to have, but you're not really in the place to receive it because we draw the energy that we put out, and if it's not true in nature, I feel like it doesn't come true back to us.
Okay, so now I have a question. Are you saying that? Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but I'm kind of like putting it into where I understand. Are you saying that, you know, um, people help you to prepare to be the person that you want to be, or but I still okay. So then, okay, I agree with that to a certain extent, and this is why I feel like you still should have some type of preparation for yourself.
Oh, of course.
I, because, and I say that because yes, you have a person, but it goes back to those different levels. You know what I mean? So, and if y'all aren't in the same level, and then trying to move from there, yeah, you might have like a little hiccup there that that person will help you with. But I still feel like you still got to be on the same page. You still got to be at least close close range,
Right.
because you can set that other person back, and that person can set you back because they're way higher and you lower. Now you feeling like you belittled, or you know you're not all the way there. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like that also causes problems, if that makes sense.
Well, let me clarify my statement. Yes, another person helps you to be prepared for what you're supposed to have. But what I mean by that is, first off, you have to be in a position to receive it. You have to be in that place, because if you're not ready to receive anything, of course, it's going to go over your head. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss
Right.
it. But you have to understand, first and foremost, you've heard that statement that life runs us into all the wrong people to prepare us for the right person.
This is true.
So we learn from our mistakes. We learn from our bad relationship. You should, if you don't take something away from any relationship you've ever been in, then it was basically just a waste of time. And you should never want to look back at any experience in life as a waste of time. You have to sit back and realize, well, what could I have done better? What went
Right.
wrong? What do I
Right.
need? What did I need for this? And then each time that happens, it should be something different until you constantly keep building.
There you
Now,
go.
what I mean about the partner is, I mean, this is based on fear based. The right partner can remove the fear. And when
Okay.
they can remove the fear, because if you're genuinely into somebody, we're human beings, and it's funny how simple it comes down to. We're emotion based. Very rarely will you ever hear somebody tell you that they're feeling two passionate emotions at the same time. It's usually one. One overpowers all. If you feel hate, you don't feel love.
Right.
If you're afraid, you don't feel love. But if you feel love, or you know what I'm saying, admiration for something, it suppresses those negative feelings. So it allows you to see what you're really meant to see. But that
Exactly.
has to be someone to draw that out of you. But you have to be ready to and willing to receive that love, to give that love back. That's what I
I got you. Okay.
mean. So we spoke briefly about this. You said you would want to tell somebody if you don't see them as someone you would date or someone you would court, but would you prefer someone to just honestly tell you that? If it was the other shoe was on the other foot, would you rather them tell you, or just let it play out? Like, if you know you're looking and you see somebody as, oh, I want to be with you, and they just, I just want to date. Would you rather them just let it play out or tell you?
I would rather for a person to tell me. And why? Because time is very, very valuable. Man, you can be here today and gone tomorrow. Time is a very, very, very valuable thing. And I would want somebody to tell me, because I would not want to waste their time, and I wouldn't want them to waste my time.
Right.
Tell me so that I know you can go be great, I can go be great. Let me know what's going on, because time is something you just can't get back. And I
Right.
mean, we hear you want to enjoy yourself while you're here. You don't want to be miserable or letting things play out. And over time, now you're resenting this person. Now you're not liking this person. Now you're not liking. Now you've lost faith in having love or anything. Period, and it's just escalating over time because this person that you don't want to be with, but they want to be with you, and it's easy. No, let me know. The flat out let me know, because I just feel like that's that's something that needs to be said. So far, so often you see, couples that don't want to be in a relationship, or don't want to be with the person that they're with, don't want to do what, don't want things, but they still play it out. Either it's for a reason, it's easy, or it's convenient, or but they're not happy.
Right.
I mean, that's not what life is about. You want to be happy in this life. You only get this life once. So separate yourself. If they're making you miserable, you're not happy with them, or you're not happy with me, let me know. I would rather know than to keep trying to. Now it's bad on me. So this is example. Let's just say I'm in a relationship. This person's not happy with me, but now I'm seeing that they're not happy. They go cheat. Now I'm trying to figure out, do whatever I can do, bend over backwards to make them happy with me, and it's never gonna happen. Like that. Now I gotta go heal once we finally do break up 3 years later, or a child later, or whatever, and figure things out. And I'm back at square one, or at the bottom, trying to pick myself back up to this level of being ready again. No, let me know.
I get it. Time is everything. Time is
Yes, it is.
the most important thing, and that could be the difference between having a friendship still with exes, or having people
Right,
and want to hit you every time they are in their car. There's a big it's a thin line between that, and I'm very big on that. I've always been big on not wasting people's time and people not wasting my time. Often,
right,
I feel the same way. Sometimes people tend to waste people's time. That's just the world we live in. But very, very in certain situations, you'll get people who might be honest with you. Then people, oh, I can't believe.
right,
Yeah, they'll be mad for the second, but they'll thank you later because they had
right,
the opportunity to go and find what they're actually supposed to have. And everybody deserves
right.
to find their happiness and not be miserable, because that's the worst feeling, to be in a situation you don't want to be in. It's like being in a job you hate. It's hard to get up for that.
Yeah.
It's, it's hard to give your best. You want to that same type of energy in a relationship? No.
But yeah, hey, it's man, it's just it releases so much if you just speak about it. Hey, I don't think this is gonna work out. It a person, like you said, I might be upset for a couple of days, but in a couple of days after I done thought about it and really thought about it, you know what? They just they just released me. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Because the most common thing you hear, and it's funny that this is the thing, but people walk away from relationships and say they didn't get closure. And to
Yeah,
say to say you haven't got closure means that you were in a relationship with no communication. Because if you don't know why things didn't work, you don't know why they don't want to be with you, and you're just sitting there with all your time wasted, that can drive some people crazy. Um,
right.
and it holds a lot of power over people. And it's always one person in the relationship that needs the closure, or feel like they didn't get their closure. The other person, they're good, they're moving on, they're living their best life. You over here like, how do I fix?
What
My,
happened?
I don't know what was wrong, and a lot of the
Yeah,
time, it has nothing to do with you. A lot of the times,
right,
and I had to teach myself that at an early age, that closure wasn't necessarily something that I had to have, because in the end, what do I feel about the relationship? How did I feel? What did I take from the relationship? And then I take that and I build from that. It's easier said than done because
yeah,
you have questions in the back of your mind, but at the end, when you at a certain point you realize those, it really doesn't matter, because if they said, "Oh, I just didn't want to be with you because I found somebody else," is that closure? No, they found somebody
no,
they consider better, so that's not really closure. That's just you with somebody who didn't value you. That's all.
right.
So
And sometimes, like you said, you really do. Sometimes you don't get the closure that you want because you do get that person that's not on that same mindset. That you have to step back and look at the relationship like, okay, what happened? Got it. Don't do that again. Move forward. Um, you just, I mean, not everybody is gonna do it. We get that. Not everybody is gonna be the same. Hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. No, they're just gonna cheat or do whatever and go about their business and be like, oh, my bad. But you kind of just, I mean, some people are just okay with going from one person to the next person and not figuring out like, okay, now you just got slapped with the same situation over and over and over until you get that lesson out of that. And then once you learn that lesson, okay, Now you can move forward. But no, you're gonna keep getting hit with life until you figure it out, until you see, oh dang, here I am in the same boat. Here I am in the same situation that I was just in. Okay, let me back up. Let me figure out what am I doing? You know, what's going on? Like you have to look at it yourself too, because I'm not gonna lie. I in one of our singles ministries, um, I don't even remember who it was. I've been to so many, but they actually told us, write down every relationship that you've been in, whether you considered it that your boyfriend or whatever. Write down what you learned from that relationship, and if you repeat it, if that's that same thing, that's something you should have got. If you're learning it over and over and over again and you're still having to go through it, hello, that's why you keep going through it. That's why you keep attracting the same person. That's why you keep doing this, because you haven't learned your lesson and you keep putting yourself back in those situations. So, like, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. For me, how I was able to prevent that same situation that I didn't have a necessary answer to, I looked at the whole relationship in its entirety, and I realized the one common denominator was the communication, lack of communication. It was
Right.
always an excuse why she couldn't vocalize what she felt, and I felt that, oh, in time she'll get to that point. And after that I said, you know what, I won't ever put myself in a situation with somebody who can't
You
vocalize.
go.
You never had that issue again. So
Right.
I didn't need her to tell me, oh, this is what it was. She couldn't vocalize it anyway. She couldn't
Right.
express it anyway. So I realized I needed to put myself in a situation where people who know how to articulate their feelings, because that's a big
Yeah.
thing, and that'll leave you in a lot of issues if you're not if people can't communicate with you.
Yeah. It's blueprints. Oh man, it's blueprints to everything. Like it is blueprints and instructions and everything. You just gotta pick it out so that you don't keep repeating it and move forward.
Pay attention to the signs.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. So this is the last question. What advice do you have for someone who is not sure if they want to court or date or court to get to an engagement? They're unsure.
What advice do I have for
I'll
a
rephrase it in a
person?
better way. What would you say to a young you who's at a point where you're unsure if you should be dating or courting to find your partner?
Ooh, what would I say to a younger me? I would say that's better for me. For a younger me, I would say to wait. Focus on me first, because you can't be in a relationship or dating somebody or wanting to court somebody if you're not right. And it goes back to me saying, bringing stuff to the table. I can't ask for somebody to. I can't ask for this wonderful man, and then I'm this broken person, because my brokenness is gonna break that wonderful man. So it goes back to self, and it might be selfish, but it's okay to be a little selfish, and especially if you're trying to bring somebody else into your life. At that moment, you do have to be selfish to the point where, okay, I want to make sure I'm right, so that when I'm right and I bring somebody else in, we can be right together, or we can grow together. But if one person is broken, well, now one person is whole and one person is broken. Now you got two broken people trying to mend themselves. I would tell my younger self to wait and focus on self. That regardless if that means getting, what's the little song that they singing on TikTok and everything, getting my degree, saving my money, getting my body right, you know, meditating, clearing my head, detoxing myself, whatever that takes. Worry about me first, and eventually everything else is gonna happen. But if I'm right and I'm what is it called? If I'm in a in a great place where I understand who I am, what I like, what I want, what I don't like, then I can bring somebody else. But I need to worry about me first because I can't fix me and fix somebody else too. No.
Exactly. No, 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 no. Very well said. I mean, for me, I look at it like if you're at a point where you're unsure what you want or what you need, then odds are that you're not ready for any of them, and you still have some growth and learning to do, and that's okay. That's okay
Right.
because there are things that we're certain about. We're certain we need to eat. We're certain we need to sleep.
There you
So
go.
when you actually need something or you are ready for something, you'll know. So I feel like
Right.
I would tell a younger me to just learn what those things are, learn what is required to bring to the table to even have those conversations.
There you
And
go.
at that
I like
point,
that.
eventually I'll be ready and I'll know that I'm ready. I won't be uncertain.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's good. Yes. Most definitely. Man, I'm telling you, why we just didn't, we should have just like stepped in the future a little bit as kids, fast forward a little bit, and saw ourselves. But and it's just like when you go back, I can say this though, past relationships, I'm pretty cool with all my exes or all the people that I've dated or anything like that. But and I don't regret anything. And I don't take anything back. Everything happened for a reason, but it was a lesson in it. It was something I was supposed to take forward. It was a tool that I needed in order for me to be the woman I am today. So I don't regret anything from my past because yes, I am 33 years old and I'm this way now for a reason. Like it took a lot. It took a lot of learning. It took a lot of lessons, but and it took a lot of experience. But I'm happy with who I am, and I'm happy that I'm learning more about myself now before it's too late, and I do end up being with somebody or marrying somebody, and then here I am getting a divorce and things like that, or heading down the wrong path or hurting somebody else in the process.